Good morning, everybody. It's walk talk time. And we begin now. All right, so good morning, everybody. My name's Eric, and you are joined in on Walk Talk Time. I'm trying to do something that's probably never been done before. I haven't seen that it's been done. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to lose some weight, get fit. I'm 43 years old. I'm a family man. I have 2 young boys, an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old. I have a beautiful wife. I'm a busy family man. I work my main job in the legal world as a legal videographer. And most of the time, I'm stuck at my recording studio, sitting in a chair for sometimes 10 plus hours a day. I used to be in person a lot, hosting depositions. But now, I'm remote 99% of the time. And I tell you what, I've got office butt. 294 pounds. I'm a little over 6 feet 2 inches tall. I'm a big guy. Pushing 300 pounds has not made me happy. That's for sure. But here we are. I am going to be walking and getting fit and doing interval walking every morning, 5 days a week, from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. because it's the only time of the day I have to put into myself. I have to get up. I'm not the 5 a.m. club. I'm the 4 a.m. club. And if this is what it takes to get fit for my boys, for myself, for my wife, so be it. I'm going to walk you through everything we're doing. Right now, we are in a 5-minute warm-up session where I'm just doing a normal pace walk. And we do that for 5 minutes. And then we kick it up to a power walk for 3 minutes. And we'll be doing 7 intervals just like that for the next hour. The last 13 minutes, I think, will be our cool down. So we are in our warm up right now. I'm using a prototype recording system to record myself. It's very much like a rucksack. And I'm using a pretty cool new little camera that I haven't really used before today too much. And I'm just trying to see if it's going to work well for this application. Hopefully it does. I've got my iPhone 15 right below me. That is showing me everything we're doing. right now on our walk. All right, we just hit our power walk time. So here we go. It is now burn time. So now we're gonna pick up the pace for the next 3 minutes. I'm gonna take my headset off so you guys can hear the audio. All right, so burn walk. So our burn walk, we take longer strides, okay? So you're fully extending your leg and you're landing on your heels and kind of trying to move your hips a little bit. Get some real good movement going. So that's the reason why you see my face red. We have 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on this burn. I'm walking up an incline right now. It's not very steep. Why have I chosen to come outside and do this? Well, I used to be a lot more fit before I had office butt. And I felt my best workout time and the most fit I was in my life. It was because of interval running, actually jogging. So I would be like 2 minutes of jogging, 4 minutes of power walking, and I would just go back and forth. And well, hey, I'm not in my late 20s anymore. Like I said, I'm a big guy, so I can't, running's not good on my knees, my ankles and my hips. My goal is to lose my dad bod. Not so much worried about that. It's really to be fit. To be fit for myself and my family. Whew, man, that power walk. That is tough when you are out of shape. 20 seconds left. But hopefully you follow along in this journey and you get some value out of this. If I get enough subscribers to the channel, WalkTalkTime, there we go. Now we're in our cool pace. If I get enough subscribers to the channel, I will invest in a really cool streaming device. That way I can stream these workouts live. And you can walk with me live. You can even comment. And I'll be able to see that and be able to respond to that. But that device is around $1,000 to make this all work. So for now, I'm going to be recording these, and hopefully you'll see them the next following day. I have to be completely transparent with you. YouTube is not new to me. I have 2 other YouTube channels in my... This is my Clark Kent version of me, Eric. Eric Hall. That is my Clark Kent version. My superhero version, I am Mr. Flavorsmith. And Mr. Flavorsmith has a YouTube channel where I'm a cook. I mainly focus on backyard cooking for my family and friends. What is that entitled? Well, it's a lot of barbecue. And I started that channel. Well, my first video I posted was March 11th, 2024. That date is a special date to me. It has to do with my mom. Ooh, I just hit a hot spot. And, well, if any of you know anything about barbecue, it's not necessarily the healthiest thing for you. I mean, it is. But if you're putting barbecue sauce on it, it's not. So that hasn't helped me out at all. I do a lot of cooking for my family. And fortunately, they all really enjoy it. My 3-year-old started calling me Daddy Barbecue when he was 2. I think it's pretty precious. All right. We're at 1:30 left in our cool walk, which was our 5-minute session. This is extra challenging because walking and talking is very hard to stay focused. Even harder to breathe. So you're going to hear me speak slowly. I also have an issue with my nose. Might be that I've broke it like probably 9 times now. 6 for sure. 3 of them were from my lovely older sister. Thanks, Wendy. From when we were kids. Now we're really good friends. We had a rough patch for a while there. So, hold on 1 second. We've got 5 seconds left till our burn. Till our burn walk comes up. There we go. Now we're into our burn walk. So let's do our power walk. Longer strides, heel to toe. You make contact with your heel, you roll to your toe. I even emphasize with a little bit of push on my toe. I tell you what, my neighborhood, they probably think I'm the weirdest looking dude right now. This is quite the setup I have. I have a battery pack on my backpack. A little tiny backpack that attaches to this metal frame system. I need a little more light. There we go. Got my headlight on. It is very calm. January 2nd, 2025. I waited and I bulked up a little bit in anticipation for the launch of this channel because I wanted to give inspiration to other moms and dads out there that don't have time for themselves throughout the day to spend on themselves to improve their mental health and their physical health. And once the sun comes up and we get our boys up and ready and off to elementary school and daycare, I don't have any time in the day for myself throughout the day and the evening for working out. And it's a shame, but it's a real issue that a lot of working parents have. And I'm hoping that being in the 4 a.m. club, which is truly the 3:30 a.m. club when I wake up, and I hit the road at 4 a.m., that you will be able to do the same. You can find time. Unfortunately, it's not in the day. It's early in the morning. But there's a lot more to it. Basically, we're walking for an hour every day. Now, I don't know how many steps that's going to be, and it's different for everybody. I have very long legs, so we'll see how many steps I get in a day. I would like to be able to hopefully get somewhere around 8,600 steps on this walk, and then throughout the day I'd like to hit 10,000 steps. There's been a lot of studies out there about 10,000 steps, and if you can hit 10,000 steps in a day, it just ignites your metabolism without doing any crazy cardio. And for me, at this weight and at my size, cardio is really hard to do. But walking, man, honestly, most people can walk. If you have legs, even messed up legs, you can walk. And maybe it's not doing this. Maybe it's not an hour at a time throughout the day. Maybe it's when you go to the grocery store, instead of parking as close as you can to the front door, maybe you park at the far side of the parking lot. And maybe you do that everywhere you go throughout your day. And if you do that, I really feel, and you fit that in, walking everywhere you can throughout your day. There's our timer. So, wow. All right. We've hit a half hour. This is our turn back point, but I don't have to work this morning. I'm just gonna be taking care of my boys today. They're on vacation. So maybe we'll get a longer first walk in. But half hour point is usually when I want to turn back around. Now, I've only done this route one time before. Funny story about that. 6 months back, I said, hey, I'm going to start walking. And so I got a hydration pack. And I was like, all right, here we go. We're going to walk. And I figured I'd hit 30 minutes out. And at the 30-minute point, I'd turn back around. Well, that's all great and everything. But I didn't think about my shoes that well. And that was a bad idea. I put on some slip-on shoes I wear often. And started for the walk. Well, by the time I hit this point last time, I had blisters that were the size of 50-cent pieces right up towards the front of my foot, right on the pad of my foot, bottom pad of my foot, just behind my toes. It was bad. So at this point right now, I would have already taken my shoes off and been walking barefoot with just socks on. And I got down to this lower point here, all the way down at the end of the street. Let me turn you guys around. All the way down at the end of the street there. And then I put my shoes back on once I got to this gas station down there. And then I walked a little bit. Couldn't take the pain with my shoes on anymore. And so I ended up going barefoot. So I went barefoot almost halfway. Learned my lesson. I told my wife that, why are we not burning? Hold on 1 second. Alright. Our pace is off. It's okay though. This is our trial run today, day 1. So I don't expect everything to go good. I didn't do a dry run. This is my dry run. So prototype gear on, trying to figure it all out. But honestly, it seems to be going pretty good. You know, once I get down into town where there's more cars, that'll be interesting. I expect I'm going to end up eventually being stopped by a cop. Because, to be honest with you, it almost looks like I have a gun out in front of me mounted to my chest. But I do have a red light on my back, and I do have a headlight on the front. So I'm going to turn my headlight off now. And just turn it to green or red. Tell you what though. Anyway, my nose. I can't breathe through my nose very well. I never have been able to since I was a small boy. It was an issue in high school sports. If I ran too much, I would throw up. And then it's something I got used to, and I figured out how not to throw up. The reason why I was is because I breathe through my mouth the majority of the time. As you can imagine, I probably have, sleep apnea. And it's not necessarily from me being heavy at this point, but I'm sure that doesn't help. But my nose is messed up. And the only thing I've ever used that works for that, to open up my airways, my nose, is Vicks nasal spray. I take that, and about 10 minutes into it, I can breathe through my nose. Still probably not as good as most people. I've tried different sport strips, nasal strips, and they have not really worked that great as of yet. So I am in the search for better nasal strips so I can use on my walks. 5 seconds before our next burn. Hopefully you'll hear the audible. Nope, did not hear the audible. All right, but here we go. Spin me back around. If you can see my face, it is red. We are back on our burn. So pick up the pace. We are walking down hill a little bit now, so it's a little bit easier. I tell you what, it's kind of spooky early in the morning because there are a lot of critters walking around here in the bushes. I live in a suburb area, so we have a lot of open fields, and our house at the very end of the street is a preserve. And so it's just an open mountain range. So we have a wash that's right behind us. And it's got trees and everything, oak trees. And lots and lots of coyotes. I've heard that there's mountain lion up in the hills, small mountains above us, but I don't know about that. But I will say there are deer there. So it's it's kind of a neat area. I'm in Wildomar, California. So, January 2nd, 2025, temperature, not bad, 48 degrees this morning. So, we got a minute left in our power walk. Well, we're halfway through, a little over halfway through our session here. And if you're still with us, thanks. And thank you for tuning in to Walk Talk Time. So, as I said, I have 2 other YouTube channels. And I do a lot of editing on those. Well, one of them anyway. The other one, I talk about how to do YouTube channels and the life of a content creator. And I have been making content for social media since 2006. Company I used to be the CEO of an international sporting goods manufacturer for roughly 18 years. And at one point, we spent close to $250,000 one year on our marketing company and all of our advertising and everything. And we were about a $2 to $4 million a year gross sale company, really kind of depending on the year was who we were selling to, because things changed from year to year. Box stores you sell to. I sold to Bass Pro Shops, Gander Mountain, Cabela's, Elliott's, Dick's Sporting Goods, even Walmart. And the pandemic, well, gotta go back a little bit. But we had one main factory where we machined all of our parts. We assembled them all, we decorated them all, we packaged them, and we distributed it. Meaning we ship out to our box stores, our wholesalers, and our dealers global wide. And in 2019, well, actually 2018, I started a project to wean us off of our foreign dependency on some carbon tubes. And I had negotiated the acquisition of roughly $5 million worth. We hit our halfway point where I want to turn around, so we're turning around. Worth of carbon manufacturing equipment from a golf shaft manufacturer that had gone out of business. We're in a cool down phase, just to let you know. And I decided, well, we decided, my partner and I at the time, we decided that we were going to manufacture our own rods for our own products and for some of our competitors too, because everybody at the time was buying carbon from China mainly, but a lot of different countries overseas, as was most of the golf manufacturing industry. So I acquired all these amazing machines that need a little bit of TLC. Got a new location just specifically for the carbon factory and went to work. Building out a U.S. manufacturing facility with the capability of competing with foreign prices and hopefully a higher quality. Well, this was like the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, we really ramped it up. And we had never manufactured this stuff before. So myself and my team, mainly my right-hand man, one of my dear friends now, Shay, love that guy. We figured out how to do this, how to make it. And then we also turned to a family member of mine. We called him the Wizard. It was Chan. He knew everything about how to fix machines and electrical, hydraulics. He taught Shay and I a lot over that next year. Unfortunately, Chan is no longer with us. He recently passed away from cancer. Rest his soul. Super cool guy. The world is lost. Not lost, but he's transitioned to another form, I would imagine. Energy doesn't just get spent, it just changes form, always. And so he's somewhere. Hopefully you're listening, buddy. Anyway, come towards the end of 2019. We are in our burn, by the way. And we were back uphill with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. And man, I'm getting tired. I was really out of shape. I'll get back to the end of 2019. Also let you know what I've got going on is I have my Apple Watch strapped to my left ankle. Yes, it's still there. And it's keeping track of our steps. I don't have it on my wrist because I'm not moving my arms like I should. And I'm doing that. Eventually I will. But as I said, I have a prototype stabilization system on here, and it needs a little extra support from my hands. If this proves out to be a good idea, I will put more time, money, and energy into the next prototype. But this is not an item I'm ever going to sell. This is just for this channel. So I got to see if it's going to work. Whew. Uphill. A minute left in the burn. Oh, this interval walking is awesome. So at the end of our walk, I will check my progress. Know how many steps we're at, how far we walked, hopefully how many calories. We'll see. I apologize for the heavy breathing. If it's coming through on the audio, which I'm sure it is. But hey, This is raw and real. Now we're in a cool down. I'm just gonna go a little bit slower. Well, I'm pleased with my setup so far. So that's nice. Sorry about that, folks. Over the past month, I've done a lot of research on walking, and there's a ton of really fit people out there, a lot of bodybuilders that say walking is their best form of cardio, because especially for bodybuilders, when you want to retain your muscle mass, cardio is kind of a killer for it. At least intense cardio is. Because if you don't have the fat reserves for your body to burn as fuel energy, then you start burning muscle mass. Could be wrong, but I believe that's what I've interpreted off of it all. And so a lot of bodybuilders highly believe in walking. And then, because it gets them the cardio, especially a faster paced walk. Going uphill again. Because it's giving you the cardio, it's moving, it's pumping your heart, getting air through your lungs, oxygen through your body, which just kind of pumps up your performance for everything throughout the day. So a lot of guys and ladies will go through and do a workout similar to this in the morning, and then everything they do later on throughout the day is basically amplified because of that walk you did early in the morning. It's kind of like a cheat for boosting your metabolism, really lighting a fire under it. I had this old foreman I worked with when I was in my mid-20s, I think it was about 25. And he was like 46, 47, maybe even pushing 50 at the time. And he worked out every morning before he hit the job site. I was a finished carpenter then for a little stint. And he was at the gym. I think it was more 4:30 to 5:30 in the morning. This little dude, he was ripped and super fit. And I envied him. I'm like, how can you get up that early and go work out? But he had a pretty hot wife, a lot younger than him, made a lot more money than he did. So if he let his body fall apart, he'd have some big issues. He knew it. My beautiful wife, we were just passing her favorite house. Yellow, 2-story, kind of like a ranch style house. The porch wraps all the way around on some really nice piece of property with a lot of mature trees, mainly eucalyptus. It's the house she wants. So this channel, hopefully with time, will help us attain that awesome goal once again. Animals all around me right now. Anyway, Back to 2019 real quick. Wow. As you can see, it's red. We're in our burn. Now I gotta do our power walk. So 2019. It was November. We finally launched the carbon factory. And we were off. 2 factories, about 12 employees. We weren't fully staffed yet. Everything was looking pretty good. And then everybody started getting sick. And actually started happening, I want to say around September 2019, if I remember correctly. October, more people sick. Everybody just chalked it up as the yearly sick season. So we had 2 factories, limited staff, tons of orders. They had a contract with a Chinese company, a commitment to spend $500,000 a year with us. And then they thought they could do $1 million with us a year. But they were worried we weren't able to keep our supply up. We're still in that burn. And I tell you what, they were right. I did a good job of marketing. And selling our products. And our sales were greater than our capacity to deliver. Good problem, bad problem to have. 56 seconds left on the burn walk. And so Christmas comes around and we're all slaving. Our team was doing a killer job. New Year comes around. We were pumping orders out. February comes around. Everybody's sick. Pretty much everywhere. No one knows what's going on yet. February 19th, 2020. Anyway, let me back up a little bit. Beginning of the year, end of the year, we sell our house. I saw there was problems with my partner, so-called partner, older gentleman, and he had swerved away from my wife and I and my sister, which she was in the office. My wife was office manager. My sister was my assistant. After 18 years, partner just got a little loony and started making bad decisions, wouldn't listen to me on anything. Then he stopped paying what I was owed, money I had put out in. I had even cashed out some of my retirement to pay for payroll. I never got any of that back. Things were getting weird, so we decided to downsize, sell our house, and move closer to family. I didn't need to be at the factories. I had remote operations set up. I even had a robot I called Johnny 5. And Johnny 5 has some very big significance to me. Hopefully some point in time I'll tell you that story. But my robot, I was able to control remotely and run around our main factory and talk to our workers and our team. Anyway, everybody's getting sick. Things are weird. Beginning of February, my dad goes into the hospital. We are now in our cool period. Want to let you know. Hence the blue screen. And My dad stayed in the hospital for a long time. Sick, big, heavy set guy. My dad was big. He wasn't any 300 pounds. He was over 400 pounds. Tall guy too, like myself. But he had been really big the majority of my life. Unfortunately, even as a kid, he wasn't able to do a lot of things with me that most dads were. But he made up for it. And he did things for me that most dads didn't do. Took me fishing all the time. Took me hunting all the time. We were big into archery. And I competed all over in that. Had my run at the Olympics. And state champion multiple times. I even had an archery shop. My first business when I was a junior in high school. Opened it up in our dining room at our house. Started coaching, started teaching shortly. Took over the garage, then took over our studio equipment facility. And I was in the motion picture industry too growing up. Get into that another time. And anyway, so dad had a lot of underlying health issues. Diabetic, type 2, neuropathy in his legs for a long, long time. And I was always into working out when I had the time. I had my seasons. I'd go to the gym every day, a couple times a day for a few years, then off. Work got its best of me. Our cool down period's almost over. We're back into an incline. And so my dad, he never really worked out. And he always would come visit me with my mom and say, hey, we need to go on a walk together because a walk is the only thing I can do. But I need some motivation and I need you there. Not that I knew what I was doing, just moving my body. But he needed that mental support and someone to talk to pass the time. That's kind of where this idea came from. And here's the reason why. 2020, February 19th, my dad died. I got to see him one time when he was in the hospital, about a week before he died. We thought he was coming out. Everybody did. And I live 2 hours south where he was at. My sister called me, told me I need to race up there. Unfortunately, he had already passed. So I just got to kiss him on his forehead when he was dead, laying in the hospital bed. And I told myself, back then, we only had one boy. I said, I'll never get like this. My wife and I, we are in the burn right now, 2 minutes into it, and it's hard. My wife and I were older parents, and so I knew I needed to work harder at it. And so I'm a little late. Now I got another child. Pandemic hit right after my dad's death, and the whole world went upside down. Long story short, we lost our company, our 2 factories, and that I built with my bare hands, and the 4 brands I had developed. And we didn't really have a place to live because we had sold our house. And at the time, prices were kind of stupid. Once the pandemic hit, we were just planning on holding off until prices came down. Turned out 2020 was all that stimulus money the government put into everything and gave everybody. Prices of houses went through the roof. Not only to own, but even more so to rent. 20 seconds left in the burn. And we couldn't afford both of us losing our jobs. And tons of debt from the launch of the new factory and my partner burning me. Oh, now we're in the cool down. And my partner burning my wife and I financially with $150,000 debt I had spent on my credit cards to purchase things and keep things going. 28-year-old company at times would do close to right around 4 million gross sales. Targeted to probably do 5 million that year. And it just folded. So found myself 40 some years old, I guess at that point. It's a really awesome resume. And no one wanted to hire a CEO level person that didn't have a college background as well, no matter how successful you were. They used the college as a process of elimination because all the good jobs everybody was flooding to, and even though they might have had the college degree, they didn't have the experience. I think the way corporations hire and big companies hire is stupid because a degree doesn't mean anything. Experience is everything. And if you've been through good times and bad times professionally with a company or multiple companies, you know how to bob and weave and how to get through hard times and good times. Unfortunately, the pandemic, a lot of people made out. We were not one of them. Still to this day, I carry some of that financial debt, still paying it down. But we've had a boy since then. I jumped around as an advisor, landed some pretty cool gigs, one even in the cannabis industry in California. Part of a company that went from $0 to within 6 months, about $600,000 in gross sales a month. That was a pretty good accomplishment for a bunch of guys that were just business dudes that, no, it was pretty cool. Did it with my friends. Had some falling outs. Just kind of happens. If you're going to get into business with friends or family, make sure it's the right type of business and make sure it's people you can get along with and work with through the ups and downs, because there's always going to be ups and downs in business, just as anything. So, reinventing myself, I fall back onto my video stuff, which I had been doing a bunch of videos on YouTube for my 2 different brands and the products we did. So I had been on YouTube for over 10 years at that point. Not monetized. I wasn't making any money off of that. It was just informative stuff. But I saw the power that YouTube had. And I was like, man, this is amazing. And I wish I would have started this back then. Man, during the pandemic, this type of thing would have been huge. Anyway, I didn't. And somehow a headhunter found me and I was recruited to become a legal videographer. And I figured, hey, and primarily it was remote. Back then, there was no in-person jobs. Not where I was at. The courts had shifted gears in California and decided they would do remote proceedings on everything. Depositions, that's part of it in the discovery phase of any litigation. And so I set myself up, $7,000 studio, virtual studio, and started hosting virtual online depositions, streaming them live. And then I saw the power of streaming, not just videos, but streaming. And so that is my main gig to this day, 2.5 years later, something like that. About 2 years ago, I started the YouTube channel, Mr. Man-Made. I was taking my knowledge of manufacturing and consumer products, and I would do reviews on everything from fitness stuff, house cleaning stuff, because I was a man that was a maid. And so I threw on a tuxedo apron, silver aviator glasses, white sweatbands with cufflinks in them. And that was kind of my little giddy up my outfit. And I started doing stuff on everything on Amazon you could find for cleaning and cooking and just anything within the house, organization in the house. And I would do this whole little song and dance for different star reviews. 1 star, you'd get this thing, light show and everything. 2 stars, you get this thing, light show. 3 stars, 4 stars, all the way up to 5 stars. And it was pretty cool. But it wasn't making any traction. And I put a lot into developing the videos, a lot of time, a lot of energy. And it just wasn't getting the results I wanted. We are in our cool down. And we're right at my house, so I'm not done yet. Let me see what time we're at. We're an hour. All right, everybody. You stuck around this long. I tell you what, stick around a little bit longer. I want to get into this. So, anyway, we'll just keep walking. There we go. We're in a cool down phase, but what we'll do is we'll do a cool down for 5, and then we'll do another burn. Anyway, so here I am, legal videographer, 4 to 5 days a week. It's not a full-time thing, but it usually, some weeks it is 5 days a week. Most often it's 4 days a week. So I told myself, hey, I could really do this whole YouTube thing with my Mr. Man-Made. But I wasn't getting traction with the product review stuff. I was putting a lot into it. I wasn't really seeing it. So I said, hey, you know what? Cooking's always been a thing I've loved. I love food, hence why we're here. And so maybe I'll do a cooking channel with Mr. Man-Made. So I started cooking, coming up with some really cool recipes. And then I started seeing some traction from that. Not a lot. My channel only got to 75 subscribers. But hey, I was getting views that I was pleased with for the size of the channel. And so I ended up pushing forward. Made a bunch of videos. I think I might have made 8 videos. I was pretty pleased with the way things were going. And I told my wife, this is what I want to do. And so then unfortunately, I can't say unfortunately, just things happen. I needed to put more energy into developing my career as a legal videographer. And so I did. One of the requirements is I needed to be a California notary. So I did all that. Took the test, got that, took the course. I had to invest in a bunch more equipment. So I did that. And a lot of it was streaming equipment. So here it is again, back to streaming. And then a year went by, and I didn't do anything with the channel. And I was like, it's not really what I want. So I knew I wanted to do cooking, but something that had a little more meaning to me than just general cooking. So I decided to super niche down and do barbecue. And I'll get into that in another video. But yeah, long story short, for today, I started Mr. Flavorsmith. And it took off. Did really good. Niche down. Backyard barbecuing for families. You know, sharing my recipes, sharing things that I discovered, sharing things with that other people did with my little flavor twist to it. And just a different perspective. And people started really liking it. 14 videos into it, 160 days. And I found myself monetized with over 1,000 subscribers, over 4,000 watch hours. A couple more videos later, I start getting hit up by different brands and manufacturers and everything, saying they want to work with me. There it is. It was official. I was a YouTuber. And my growth happened really quick. And still not tons of subscribers, but I had some videos that knocked out of the park. And I got one that's pushing like 80,000 views. A lot that are in the 5,000, a lot in the 2,000. A few that are in the 15,000. And it's official. I'm a YouTuber. Really paid off for me. Not so much the monetary thing. I mean, it's great. I'm also an Amazon associate, and I get paid by Google for AdSense. So I make money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week off of my videos. I was like, this is great. And I started coaching a bunch of people on how to do it. Not specifically cooking, but a lot of different things. And I said, hey, I was answering so many questions for so many people on how to do it. I decided, hey, I might as well make another YouTube channel talking about how to do it. And that's just what I did. And so now I have Sub's Journey, which I talk about how to do YouTube. It's pretty cool. And then I was thinking to myself, I think his name is Gary Vayner, or Gary V. This crazy guy started in online wine sales in 1996, right when the internet came out. Great businessman, but his talent is really seeing the trends on social platforms and online stuff and where people are going and what people are doing. And I've always been a guy that was able to see that too and utilize that for my companies. And he said something that kind of stuck with me. So thanks, Gary. He said streaming, that's the new media. Not just streaming on one platform, but stream on all platforms. And so I find myself deciding, hey, I'll stream. Ooh, we are on a burn. Let's do our burn. Red means burn. Sorry if I lose you on that. But if you see my face change colors, red means burn. White or blue means cool. So let's do our power walk. So I find myself saying, hey, I need to stream. But streaming live on a cooking channel, it's crazy boring. I mean, especially when it comes to like smoking meats, it's an all day thing. So I'll figure out a way to do it. And I've done it once already, not a stream, but an all day cook type thing. But I'm like, you know what? Gary said something. He said, people are going to watch people do the most ridiculous things. As soon as he said most ridiculous, I'm all, huh? And one of them was, there's people that just stream themselves mowing lawns. And then he's like, And people are going to tune into that stream. But hey, if you can figure out a way to stream walking and make it interesting, people are going to want to do that. They're going to want to tune into that. And I thought to myself, hey, I could do that. I could figure out a way to make that work. And so here we are, streaming me walking. My neighbor just drove by. It's like everybody slows down when they drive by and see this. And so here we are. I'm streaming us walking together. You and I, we're getting fit. You're getting to know me. You're following along in my little journey. Oh, there's our cool down period. You're following along in my weight loss journey here. Now, I plumped up for this. So I imagine my weight loss will be pretty extreme in the beginning. It's usually the way it is. Once I lose about 15 pounds, it'll slow down. And 2 years ago, I tried to figure out how can I get fit with no time to work out. And so I started messing around with fasting. And I launched my fast with a 7-day fast. 5-day fast. I made it 5 days with no food, just water. First 24 hours were harsh. It was very hard to do. Once I made it past 24, I was like, I can go another 24. So 48 wasn't too bad. After that, your appetite is completely gone. And you get cravings, but it's not the cravings you normally get. For me, it was like I craved vegetables, not sugars and starches and breads and pastas and things like that. I craved vegetables. And so I made it through that 5 days. And then every day after that, for I think it was 24 days, I did intermittent fasting. And it was 18 hours, which basically looked like this. I'd wake up in the morning, I wouldn't eat any breakfast, I wouldn't have a lunch, and I didn't eat anything until roughly 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And my meal cycle, or the time in which I could eat, my window was between 2 and 5 p.m. And I tried not to eat after 5 p.m. I did this for I think it was 24 days, and I lost 26 pounds. Man, it was awesome. And so everybody asked me, how'd you do this? How'd you do this? I said, well, I did it while sitting at a desk for almost a month. I didn't walk. I didn't lift a weight. I didn't do anything. I just didn't eat. I was super happy with my results. I felt great. I think it was my 41st birthday. And I was like, man, I look good. And I did. And I got down to I think it was 249 or something. And I was like, this is awesome. But then a few months went by and I was still keeping it off, still doing pretty good, but I was back to a normal eating schedule. And I still tried to fast as often as I could, but it's kind of tough with 2 kids, eating your own meals while having to cook meals for family and stuff as well, or just my wife making meals for family and everything. You end up cheating and it becomes really hard. So I'm like, just watching your diet and being very strict and fasting, that's not enough. It's not sustainable for me as a parent, hardworking guy, multiple gigs going on. And so I told myself, I'm going to come up with some sort of fitness program and I'm going to share it with others and just try and help, just give back. That's where I'm at my point in life, is the give back stage and helping others. And so I had this idea in my head for a while now to do an everyday thing that everybody can do and see where it goes. And so here we are. And 248, I think it was 240, no. I've checked my records, but I think I'm at 248.8 pounds. I'm sorry, not 248. I think 294 is where, 294.8 pounds. Back in our burn. Let's walk a little faster. And I would like to get down to 240. I know my first goal is 260. And at 260, dropping 30 some pounds is going to be awesome. And that's going to keep me going. And I think I can hit 260 or 30 plus pounds. I believe I could probably do it in about 45 days. We'll see. This is day one. Then from there, it'll slow down a lot, the weight loss, I would imagine. And I think to hit 240, I think that's going to be closer to 60 days. I'm going to be as strict as I can on my diet. It's very tough to do the carnivore diet. I kind of do a mix of, I love salads, I love veggies, so it's very hard for me I crave those things. I crave Italian salads, and it's just olive oil. I use a really good olive oil, like a Moroccan olive oil. I'll get into that a little later. And then just red wine vinegar and mix those together, or some balsamic vinegar, as well. And those are great. And so I can't just do the carnivore diet. I do a blend of two different things, and that's going to be my focus now. I did the carnivore diet for a little bit. It's very hard to do. Even me being a cook and a meat guy specifically, it's just very hard to do. It's really expensive, to be honest with you. But I figured out ways on how to do it, and you follow my other channel, I have a more vlogging style for 2025, and I do meat hauls at Costco business centers, and I take primal and subprimal cuts of meat, and I show you how to cut them down to portion cuts. That's meaning steaks specifically. And that'll save you, $50 to $100. Beef is really expensive right now. And what it really does, it gets you the steak thickness that you want, a nice good 1.5 inch thick steak. And I get into how to cook them and do all that. I do sous vide now with reverse sear over open fire. I show a lot of different ways to do that. So I'm going to kind of blend a little bit and refer. Now we're in our cool stage, which, got to be honest, I wasn't walking super fast on the burn stage, but if you see this color change, you should be doing it. So we can walk a little slower now. And I'll refer back to my Mr. Flavorsmith channel, because I'll get into cooking healthy stuff too. I'll do a whole video series on healthy cooking that will then refer back to this workout channel. And like I said, I'm an everyday dad. I'm a businessman. I'm a husband. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm an everyday guy. And I just want to share my fitness journey with you, and hopefully develop this platform to where it'll be informative for you as well. and hopefully you can get some value out of it. And hopefully you and I together can become fit, both physically and mentally. And that's what Walk Talk Time's about. And I'm just looking forward, hopefully, to the time when I can stream these live and get and see your feedback on everything as well. And hopefully you're able to listen to the audio of this, because I think I'm going to eventually turn this into kind of like a podcast. So you can listen to day 1, day 2, day 200, you know, and we'll just keep pushing through this. I'm coming up to mid 40s. 2025. This is my New Year's resolution. I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions, but I figure why not? You know, new year, new thing. Figure a lot of people are doing New Year's resolutions. I tell you what, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this tomorrow, because the newer sneakers that I've got, not that great. Could just be my feet need to toughen up a little bit too, but I feel blisters. I'm not sure how many steps we've gone. Once we get back up to the house here in a few minutes, we'll see. But I am beat. It is really hard to talk and walk and keep your mind focused on what you're doing. I'll get better at this, guys. I'm hoping eventually I'll have things that can pop up on the screen, show you the progress of what we're doing. That way you can keep better in tune with what's going on here. But I'm using the color phases of the screen to hopefully do that for you. And this will just get better and better. Ooh. I'm on a steep uphill. Let me show you that. This is our neighborhood. Christmas time is just past. So sad. My boys are devastated. My neighbors do a really good job though. Ooh, this is tough. I'll turn back around real quick. Yeah, this is tough. This is a cool down stage too, but this hill is killing me. We started at 4 a.m. We're past 5 now. I need to wake my wife up. Hopefully, and get her off to work. Get our boys up and ready for the day. Sun's still not even started to rise yet. All right, close to the house. I'm gonna pull out and see how far we went today. Oh, man. This is gonna be great if we can do this every day together. Because man, this is tough. Never thought walking could be so hard. All right. There we are. Right in front of the house. Let's see where we're at. It's 5:18. We've gone an hour and 18 minutes, a little over our targeted hour. Whew, we did good though. Didn't hit the 8,600, so I don't think that's possible within the hour for me, but 7,767 steps today. We walked far, 4.12 miles. So good job there. Let's see, what else can I pull out? I believe it was, we exercised for 78 minutes. We burned, now this is on the Apple app. Just like your fitness, your circles, closing circles and stuff. The summary, it says we moved 846/940 calories. So I believe that means we burned between 840 and 940 calories. So that's pretty cool. Let me see if I can pull up any other stats. Oh, I'm wrong. For some reason, it says we hit 9,145 steps. And the distance was 5.24 miles. Look at that. Good job, guys. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to screenshot that. And I'm going to get back to the summary. I'm going to screenshot that. That's awesome. Wow, we really crushed it today. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed everything. Please do me a huge favor. Like this video and subscribe to the channel because we are going to get fit together. Have a great day.